Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're prepared to exercise your minds with this week's episode of Strata-Gym. I'm your host, Andrew Freeman, and I got some strategy experts with me breaking down your favorite 40k and Age of Sigmar armies so you can go out, destroy, and conquer friend or foe. On a legal note, none of the things said in this show represent Games Workshop or any of its affiliated companies. This show was in no way affiliated or owned by Games Workshop. This show was created by two guys in a small broom closet that enjoy nerding out to OP formations that put so much cheese on the board, it makes grown men cry. Today I have with me Nick, and tell the listeners how you got into the hobby and why you picked Stormcast Eternals, other than them being the most OP army I've ever seen in Age of Sigmar history.
About a year ago, I got into Age of Sigmar pretty hard. I've always really liked tabletop games. I love crunching numbers and rolling dice. If it's got dice in it, sign me up. I chose Stormcast. Honestly, it was a toss-up between Dinosaurs Riding Dinosaurs for the Seraphon and the Stormcast Eternals. I chose Stormcast Eternals because Angels with Hammers just sounded cool too. That and the intro box is a good price.
Talk about your current projects and future stuff you're working on.
So to be honest, since I've been playing a little less than a year and the budget's been a little tight, I actually do not have a super competitive list right now. That is the next setup, which is actually going to be the core build of everything that I run in the future. I'm also setting up an army of Malignants, and I'm trying to figure out that army as we go.
Awesome, man. I would say your army's pretty... I've been a victim of your army once. It wasn't enjoyable. Well, let's say 3 times. Because I played in those bigger games that we had, and you've always been on the other side because I'm Chaos, of course.
Yep.
It wasn't fun.
We can't be friends.
No, your Star Drake makes it impossible for us to be friends.
I watched the last episode, and I know what's his name, BJ?
Yeah.
He had a pretty good setup that I actually looked really well into, and there's a few things that I'm worried about and a few things that I'm not so afraid of.
No, let's begin the core. The Emperor protects! Alright, now, BJ was on a few weeks ago saying he had a way to dismantle you. Do you have anything you'd like to say to that?
Okay, so I actually listened to the episode, and the list I run right now is not... I wouldn't say it's very competitive. It's kind of just meant for... I tend to play a lot of 1,500-point games.
Yep.
And I tend to just do kill-em-all kind of setups.
Exactly,
So I would say it's a terrible list for anything other than kill-em-all kind of list.
So objective is kind of a weakness.
Yeah. Stormcast have a huge issue with mortal wounds. We have a huge issue with mobility. So what you should be running is Hammer Strike Force, which is 660 points minimum, so it's kind of expensive, but it hits really hard. Yep. And basically what it is minimum it's 2 groups of Retributors and 3 Prosecutors, and then the War Scroll. So the War Scroll lets you Lightning Strike in 6 inches away from your Prosecutors, but and there's no minimum distance.
Wow.
So, I mean, obviously the 3-inch distance, but you can literally just slam them 3 inches away. And that's the whole idea, is to have them set up, get your Prosecutors into position, slam 2 Retributors right in something important, and then that turn you just blast it away. So that's the first part of it. There's the Celestant Prime, which it's more Lightning Strike. That's what you're going to find. The common theme is Lightning Strike, Lightning Strike, Lightning Strike. It completely gets around one of Stormcast's big issues, which is mobility.
Right.
And you can't do mortal wounds on things that haven't shown up yet, so it kind of gets around that also.
True, so you're getting right in the fray right away, pretty much.
Yep. And Prosecutors are cheap, they're very quick, so in a turn or two you should be able to set up, and by turn 3 you should have all your stuff Lightning Striked. You also use the Vexillor, which, once again, more Lightning Strike. You can whisk away one of your units and put them on the other side of the board in a single turn. And then it's just support. Lord Castellan for his buff. Lord Celestic can give plus... Lord Celestin on foot, I should specify, gives you the +1 to hit, which can be really nasty with Retributors.
Is that a bubble or is it a unit?
It is the Lord Celestin on foot, it's his command ability. It makes off the top of my head, I believe it's a 12-inch bubble.
Wow.
And everything, and it gets +1 to hit.
So you're probably surrounding him with Retributors then?
Yeah, if you can get him in the right position. Otherwise, you know, you can use your battle lines, your Judicators, your Liberators, all of that.
What would you go next with your build?
Well, since I normally play 1,500 points, I should say all of that stuff together ended up being, I believe it was about 1,320 points.
Okay.
So if I wanted to play a 2,000 point game, I could just slap the Star Drake and maybe another unit of Liberators, and that would be probably my 2,000 point list.
Another issue that your army has is it doesn't have very many people that sorcerers or any magic whatsoever.
The other major drawback for Stormcast is don't play if you like to cast spells, because you're not going to get any.
So a real weakness, I would say, is Tzeentch then, because Tzeentch are super magical creatures, I guess you could call them.
There is the Star Drake can plus or minus wizard spells if he feels like plussing them. I don't know why you would. He can also... the Veritant is like the unit that you play if you really need to stop a wizard.
Yeah.
If he's got a Grifthound, he gets +3 to Unbinding and can unbind a single spell. So, still not really that great, because a good player won't just let your Veritant show up and unbind spells, but we're really weak when it comes to magic. We kind of just sit there and take it.
When you're building your formations, what buffs are you really looking for?
Castellan is super good because the combo that I love to run is Castellan and Star Drake.
Yeah.
So the Star Drake normally has a 3-up save, and the Castellan gives him basically a Mystic Shield that also allows him to heal on 6-up rolls. The other part of that is the Star Drake, when it has a Thunder Shield, can re-roll failed wound rolls of 1, and then if it makes it on the next on the re-roll, it actually reflects the damage back as a mortal wound, which is my major bread and butter. Whenever there isn't high rending or mortal wound heavy units, I can just throw that guy into a group of skeletons and not care.
So people that are concerned with your Star Drake are shooting the bejesus out of him. More than likely, he's killing more just by standing there.
Yeah. I've had people who claim that they can do like 20, 30 plus wounds end up healing my Star Drake by the end of the combat.
That's very nice of them.
Yes.
Have you checked out the new units yet for the Stormcasts?
I am really liking Lord Aquilor. Lord Aquilor. I don't know how I feel about Ride the Winds Etheric. It seems really strong, but I haven't actually played it yet.
What does that basically do for you?
So Lord Aquilor and pretty much any of the other mounted units that are new, I believe all of them have this, but in the movement phase, you can, instead of moving normally, you choose the direction in which you want to move, and then you roll 6 dice. And then they can move up to that many number of inches, and as long as they don't end up like in terrain or on another model, or like in an illegal movement, they can just go that far.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it kind of solves the issue with the mobility quite a bit.
Right.
The other thing about it is, with the Vanguard Hunters and other such, and the Vanguard Raptors, there is a formation that allows you to... So it's Celestial Hunting Pack. It ends up being 1 Lord Celestin on Dracoth, 3 units of any Dracothian Guard, so like Fulminators, Concussors, any of those.
Gotcha.
1 Lord Aquilor, and then 3 units of Vanguard Paladors, which is kind of the mounted units of the smaller Dracothian mounts. But they come with an ability for Etheric Storm, which is basically if any unit moves over an enemy unit while riding the Winds Etheric, they can basically just give them a mortal wound.
Wow.
So you could skate over a person's entire army and give them a mortal wound and end up somewhere really nice.
Per each unit or each model?
It is specifically if a unit from this pack moves over an enemy unit. The other part of this is Two-Headed Beast, which is the Lord Celestin and the Lord Aquilor can basically both use their command abilities as if they were your general. So, Lord Celestin on Dracoths is a bubble for no battle shock. Basically, he can use Astral Compass as at will, which is if you have a unit set up. So this would allow him to use Lord of Azalrite Hurricane, which is the Lord Aquilor and any of the Palador or the Hunter or Raptor units. Within 24 inches of him, he can basically just set them up in your subsequent movement phase as if they had been set up in pursuit. So it's kind of another lightning strike thing.
Wow, that's huge. That's a big bubble.
Yeah. So it's pretty much he can skate all around the battlefield, and it's really cool.
It sort of makes your guys towy. A little towy.
Yeah. But they're pretty balanced in the sense that they don't have like insane offensive abilities. They're not retributors. They're not going to blast your army in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of more of the skirmish unit where they shoot you a little bit and then they back off, skate around the battlefield, shoot you some more.
So they're just offsetting whatever army they're playing against, pretty much outflanking and moving around, so you have to sort of react to them even though they have no real bite.
Yeah, I'd never want to set up a whole unit of them or like center my entire army around them, but it'd be cool to have them as just like, one battalion in a 2,000 point game or something like that.
Alright, let's move on to the next segment. And the next segment, everybody loves this one. It's Get Ripped!
I don't know if you heard me counting, I did over 1,000. You have your ubulus muscle that connects to the upper dorsimus. It's boring, but it's part of my life. I'm just going to grab this shirt if you don't mind. Just watch out for the guns.
Now, with Get Ripped, we want to know the strongest possible build for a new person. A new person just coming in, how can they advance their army tenfold? Like, what artifact or what unit can really just push you over the edge competitively?
The thing about Stormcast is there's not a whole lot of units that particularly just win you the game on their own. I mean, you could argue Retributors, but the problem with Retributors is that they're big, they're slow, they do hit super hard, but if they can't catch you, they don't do anything. Star Drake, but I don't like centering my army around a Star Drake. I just like having the Star Drake there because it's huge. I would say the best, most competitive thing you can do is the Lightning Strike, which is the build that I mentioned earlier, with the Hammer Strike Force, the Celestant Prime, Judicators and Liberators as support for your battle line, and then just heroes to support with buffs.
Nice. Has the new Stormcast Battle Tome helped at all?
Yes, actually, it is very nice having priests that can cast spells, because I used to think Relictor was one of just such a boring, not that impactful unit, because I would basically spend most of my turns just trying to heal with a 50-50 shot, or just trying to maybe do D3 wounds with a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
He's okay in combat, but he's not going to change the tide usually. And now he can actually, there's a table. I am actually a huge fan of Divine Light, which is really good for, you pick a unit within 12, and then on a roll of 3 or more, if you choose a friendly unit, then any rolls of 6 or more have to be re-rolled. So if an enemy is attacking you, they have to re-roll their hit rolls of 6. If you choose an enemy unit, then friendly units that attack that enemy unit get to re-roll their 1s on it. So it's got a lot of... I like it because there's a lot of skill involved in, should I be defensive, should I be... And it's good for, the Wrathmongers, because I know they generate that extra attack. I can cancel that.
Wrathmongers, or even the horns,
Oh, the Skull Crushers?
No, they're not bloodbound. They're
Slaves of Darkness.
No.
Oh, the Devil guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they called?
What are they called? Bloodletters.
Yeah. Yeah, the bloodletters have that decapitating on 6, so you can make them re-roll that.
Yep. And it's, who doesn't like re-rolling 1s, so...
Exactly, and you get rid of all those mortal wounds.
Yep. The other one that I really enjoy is Bless Weapon, which I would tend to use more often. It just depends on the matchup.